Welcome to Three Geeks Podcast Reviews Jessica Jones, the first season on Netflix. Today we've got myself, Max, with a little alcohol in memorial, Dan, uh, and Jason hopefully will join us shortly. We'll know. We'll see. Yeah, what do you want to say there? I got you in the shot, Max. You're good. But if you're going to be true Jessica Jones, you need to be drinking straight from the bottle.
No, I'm not a hardcore baller like she is.
Brown bag, you're good.
I haven't been drinking whole bottles of liquor for the past year and a half, so we'll go ahead and throw some Pepsi in there just to even things out.
I can't say I blame you. That's definitely pretty hardcore. She's got a super powered liver. Oh man, but yeah. So definitely. So I guess who wants to kick it off? I can kick it off. Oh, actually, someone should get a synopsis. Max, you want to give a synopsis?
All right, a synopsis.
Okay,
Jessica Jones. What I like about this one is it's not really the origin story, and we just kind of get thrown into the middle of Jessica Jones' life. She's a superpowered private detective who decided to forego the hero thing and kind of just be as normal as possible. We find her at a point in her life where she has escaped her main antagonist, the Purple Man, Kilgrave, and she assumes he's dead. And then comes to find out that he's not, and he plagues her life pretty much throughout the whole show. And yeah, there's lots of ups and downs, twists and turns, superhero bizzo, and yeah, that's it. That's the whole synopsis.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it, other than little bits of details and dropping spoilers for the end. But yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's definitely, I like the show a lot, but I had a tough time. Like, it is, and that's the one thing I would probably say.
Hold on 1 second.
I got you on camera. I mean, it's good this isn't audio right now, so we're good.
Okay, I can't do it. Woo! All right, tried it, but I couldn't do it.
That's too funny. A little too out of practice. But I would definitely. Yeah, I know what you mean. But I would definitely say if you come in watching this expecting Daredevil, you might be a little disappointed, but it's definitely different, and it's a good show. I definitely think you should just expect an interesting, good show that will be set in a Marvel a Marvel universe. I don't know about cinematic because it's got a completely different edge, both Daredevil and this one. But if you've seen Daredevil, you at least know about that edge. But it was funny because I was watching it, and there was points where I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't seen any nudity, but there's a lot of sex. I was like, yeah, I haven't seen any nudity, and I was like, wait, haven't they dropped an F-bomb? And then I realized I had watched some other thing, and they're like, oh yeah, no, we weren't allowed to use the F-bomb, and they weren't allowed to show nudity. That was Marvel's only limitation. But it does not feel like it. Do you all agree? Max?
Yeah, they pulled it off, man. It's like it definitely felt hardcore, or adult the whole time. They deal with some serious issues in this show. They are not afraid of anything. I thought Daredevil was edgy, and this show just took it to the next level. And it's I haven't read the whole Brian Michael Bendis run on Alias, the Jessica Jones comic book, but I did read one of the volume 3 out of that series, and it was Well, I mean, it was the only one I could find, but but it was it was dark, it was part of the Marvel Max comic book run, so they were the more adult Marvel comic books. And this show did not lose anything from the comic book. I mean, some stuff changed, but all the gritty, all the edginess is there. In the same way where, they can show sex but not nudity. They do that in the comic book, and it's just, I thought it was wonderful. It was just a great, like, very well done show.
Absolutely. Dan?
It's like, the best horror movies, like they don't have to show you the monster or what's happening to the characters to make you like feel something. Well, Jessica Jones doesn't actually have to show you, the sex or say fuck a lot to make you think that you've heard and seen it.
Nice. Yeah. Go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
I mean, it's there, but it's not like, look, they're naked. Ah, it's just, Yeah.
Eh. I like it.
Oh, dude, like, I mean, yeah, there's a scene where she's like banging his brains out, and they break the bed. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, yeah, you don't see anything, but you don't need to. Like, you get the point, and then like they pull the punch without really pulling the punch. I mean, this is probably the best I've seen to where they were handcuffed and you couldn't really tell. I mean, I wish Christopher Nolan would have had some of this going on in his Batman movies.
Oh yeah, are you there, Jason?
Yeah, I'm here. Well, I'm gonna try to be here.
Oh crap! It's Jason.
It's crazy, man. I had everything set fine. I sent Philip the thing, and we're ready. And as soon as I did that, everything crashed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pretty much.
What a billion kids you kick the wires.
It is. It's wireless stuff. Never mind. So what are we talking about? Jessica Jones, great show, fantastic.
Yeah, basically we were just talking about how they were able to get the adult feel without having to drop F-bombs and show nudity, because that was their only handcuffs that I actually found out. And it's funny because you don't realize that while you're watching the show. I mean, you might a few times, you might start to think about it, but for the most part, they get the seriousness across. That's all we were talking about right now. We just kicked it up.
Like Max was saying, I caught the end of it, is that they made the show hardcore without crossing the hardcore line. Like, they're having sex and breaking the bed, and you have to think for a second, like, holy shit, they didn't show any nudity. Because the sex is so real, and it's so hard that they kind of trick your mind into thinking that you're watching, what you would see in a rated R show, even though they never really cross that line. And I wish, another thing that I liked about the show with the whole handcuff thing is the budget was obviously handcuffed for them. And it showed in the way they had to write their characters. I really wish some of these big budget movies could kind of learn something from Jessica Jones and even Daredevil, to the sense that you don't need the spectacle. Write some good characters. See, that's what I like about the Netflix shows right now, is that they're so handcuffed with budget that it's helping with their storytelling, because they're making characters, and you could care less if there's a big action sequence every 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, it's the same old argument. You take you take the Star Wars movies, for instance. Now, when they had no budget and they had handcuffs, they made great Star Wars movies. But then when they got all the money that they could want, all the Star Wars movies sucked. So, I mean, like, it's just that when you have somebody who's like literally hungry because if they don't write this well, they're not going to eat, then you get good stories.
That's what's crazy, Max. Like, the Marvel movies aren't bad. If they could just borrow a little bit from what they're doing on the television shows, they could be unstoppable.
Well, no, the Marvel movies are for kids. That's the thing. The Marvel movies are for kids.
Families, yes, I agree. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, no, families mean kids. So that's what they're for.
Jessica Jones is not. Like Daredevil.
Oh, man. If I had kids, I would definitely make them watch this.
Well, mine were forced to watch it.
I'd be like, you think I'm bad?
Oh, my God. Wow.
You're working a shot, kid. This also calls into, debate, like adult, like showing nudity and everything versus adult themes. which Jessica Jones definitely has. But I mean, the writing is to such a par that it's grown-up writing. It's not just like, oh, we got naked people and swearing. It's for grown-ups. That's what I like the most about it. I think was that they tried to show you like real people and actual stuff going on, rather than just nudity and guns going off and Luke Cage. I could have dealt with more Luke Cage being a badass, actually, but it was toned down for the series.
Well, I mean, they gotta have
Christmas
material.
yeah. I love the sweet Christmas every like 20 minutes or so. That was great.
Yep.
Well,
That was the good throwback. I enjoyed that too.
Yeah, the Luke Cage series comes summer of next year. And then Jessica Jones season 2 is expected in November, and Daredevil in April. It's going to be a good year. So,
oh my God.
My question I pose to all of you, I'm not going to ask you which one you liked better because it's two different shows. Which one is the better show? I'm not going to ask you guys which one the better show is because you can't compare Daredevil and Jessica Jones in that way because they're both good shows, but they're so different. But my question to you is, which one did you enjoy better? Philip, which show did you enjoy better?
God, that's tough.
Because we as nerds always have to compare. Like every time you leave a movie, oh, that movie was way better than the last awesome superhero movie I saw. So we're not going to go there. We're just going to see who enjoyed what because let's just be glad we have it all.
Uh-oh. I completely agree. I mean,
most of the conversations I have.
Go ahead, Max.
Oh, sorry. Most of the conversations I had coming out of the movie is how shitty that was compared to the last one, not how much better it was compared to the last
one. That is Max's skewed point of view, but otherwise we wouldn't have, Max rants. But for me, I definitely enjoyed Daredevil slightly better. Mostly, I think, because I think probably because Daredevil has a rewatchability, whereas Jessica Jones is great. It's a one-time through. It's so heavy and well done. And I guess for me, the only difference was Kilgrave was not as good as Fisk. But I can't compare the two, just because I liked Fisk so much better. That's interesting. So I got some differing opinions. Who wants to go next?
I think we do. Dan, I want to hear Dan's because I think Dan differs.
Oh, I know Dan differs.
Yes, I do. Kingpin in Daredevil was awesome. I gotta say that. But I always go to the bad guy in series. That's what I like. If you do a good bad guy, I'm very happy. Kilgrave is just more menacing, and it doesn't hurt that it's David Tennant playing it. But I just his whole character is extremely menacing throughout. Kingpin, you get the point that he's got that little kid mode, when he's alone at home, he's like, oh god, bloody stuff, and oop, no, geez. Kilgrave is just frightening the whole time. Even when you laugh at him because he says something funny, his warped morality is behind that, and it's still kind of frightening. So I got to go with Jessica Jones as my favorite between them.
Max?
I prefer Daredevil strictly for the kung fu. The fight sequences in Daredevil were just retarded good. The storyline, held up, and usually either you're going to have action or you're going to have story. I thought Daredevil did a good job of both. Jessica Jones I really liked, but I actually like the difference in the fight sequences because with her and Luke Cage, it's more about just hey, I can throw a guy 40 feet away from me. Why would I bother kung fuing him? So I did enjoy the difference, but I would prefer to see, like Daredevil fight 7 dudes and get his ass kicked and still kick all of their asses. But no, I mean, this show just did it. Jessica Jones is, I mean, everything was good. They just got heavy with it. They're messing with kids. They got kids cussing up a storm. They got, I mean, it's just like, I mean, and yeah, like Dan was saying, I think the Purple Man, Kilgrave, is the better villain. I think that his mind control power is one of those things that just, it's scary to think that someone could walk up to you and just be like, do whatever I say for however long I say it. And that's, I mean, you have no control. Like, and just some of the things that he would have people do, he's like, oh, go stand over there forever. And the guys just like, they'll leave. They'll have whole scenes where, they're out of, and then they come back to it and the guy's still standing there. So it's like, that to me, I think Kilgrave was definitely the better villain because he was more of an enigma than Fisk was. Fisk was definitely like, there has to be a crime lord. There has to be somebody at the top. That person exists. But with Kilgrave, he's just, kind of wandering through life doing what he wants to do. And you can't stop it. Like that's why I think Kilgrave is the better villain. But I do prefer Daredevil as a show.
That's interesting. I'm actually, they're such good shows, both of them. But the fact that Jessica Jones is so different. You can't do that. What's that?
You can't choose both of them.
No. You gotta give me a second. The fact that Jessica Jones is just so different than any of the other superhero stuff we've seen coming out of anybody. Like even Daredevil, you could tell that it was still Marvel. As great as it is, which it is great. You can tell it's still Marvel. Jessica Jones comes out. They're having raw sex. She's a good guy, but she's not. Like she's the anti-hero of this universe, and we haven't really seen that from Marvel yet. And like you said, David Tennant as the creepy villain, the guy who could just walk up to you and say, point that gun at your parents, and then boom, they're dead. Or have a little kid deliver a message, or an old lady come up to you with a nice little sack that has a bomb in it. The show was, oh my god. So yeah, I prefer Jessica Jones just because of the difference from anything else Marvel has put out. It is so vastly different, and I hope that is what Doctor Strange is. I hope it is what Jessica Jones was to everything we've seen so far. Just so different. So different.
What I really enjoy off of this one is like they deal with rape, they deal with like a child, like spoilers. We're gonna get into some spoilers right now. The Kilgrave makes a dude drop his son off on a corner and drive away. And they deal with just these things that you're like, just the most ungodly things. they all happen in this show. Just because this is the other reason why I really like Kilgrave as a villain. Because if I had his power, I would probably be the exact same way.
Nice. You're right, Max. I mean, themes are heavy. The whole theme of the show is
okay, yeah. They touch on everything. Okay, they've got the lawyer. The lawyer's gay. They have an abortion in the show. Yeah, the dude left his kids. The one little girl.
Child abuse.
Yeah, child abuse.
Overbearing mother.
And like they did with Jessica Jones what they should have done with Tony Stark. She is an alcoholic. She's got a problem. They weren't afraid to show it. And I mean, like that's what Tony Stark was supposed to be. Just like, where's my drink?
Nice. Yeah, I definitely. Go ahead, Max. Sorry.
I just love the show. Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm sorry. The lag is a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed.
But yeah, no, it's It's good. This show is just takes on everyone head on, and it's not afraid. It pulls no punches, except it doesn't show titties or say fuck. But they yeah, it was so good, and then they just. And what I like is that it was like life in that, yeah, this thing happened, and now we have to move on. Like we have to deal with it, and it's not like, okay, this chick wanted to have an abortion, so the world's over. But, they're just like, okay, this is why she's doing it. You can what's the word I'm looking for when you feel somebody's emotions? You can just like, okay, I can understand that. Yeah, empathize. That's the word. Sorry. I've had a little bit of booze, so. But no, I mean, like, when that girl's sitting in the hospital bed, like, I don't want this thing inside of me. It's like an alien. It's like the freaking chest burster is about to come out of her. Like, that's how she feels, and you can get that. You understand that, and I really like the show for that. That's just. And also, there weren't a lot of stupid plot devices.
I can definitely buy that.
Yeah, I agree. Everything seemed to pay off pretty well. What's that?
The lag is kind of weird there, but yeah.
It's pretty bad today.
It might be on my end. I'll just give my score real quick and then duck out. I give the show a 9.5 out of 10. It is really good. Like I said, I give it the.
It's not on your end. You can hang out. It's been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
you can hang out this whole time. Yeah.
Awesome.
We're just oddly laggy today. I don't know why, but yeah. I mean, what I like about this show is that it promises you an edgy show, and then it delivers you an edgy show that doesn't rely on just. The art direction and stupid contrived plots and cookie characters and Ben Affleck in a Daredevil suit crying draped across a cross with the rain on him. It's a cool shot, but that shot does not make your movie. What makes an edgy movie is having content that actually brings you into it with real characters. That's all. And this show does it very.
In defense.
What's that?
In defense of the Daredevil movie, they only had 2 hours to do what they had 13 hours to do in the show. So you can't really compare them. Like obviously they didn't do anything right in the movie.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say that the movie was.
How about we take out Daredevil and we put in the Phantom? Okay, is that better?
Fair enough. Yes.
It was supposed to be edgy and yet, earlier back in time. And it was kind of back in time, but it wasn't very edgy. There we go. Now we're all satisfied on that.
Yeah, I would say that was about as edgy as white bread.
Yeah, we can put peanut butter on this shit, yeah.
They do talk about peanut butter a lot in this show. I think they mention it like 4 times.
Oh, yeah. Well, because Malcolm loves peanut butter when he gets high.
Yeah, and he's always getting high because...
And wandering into people's apartments and eating all the peanut butter.
Yeah. It was interesting that they all, I couldn't figure out, I'm like, is this a shitty apartment complex, or is just he so shitty that he makes it all look worse?
No, it's both.
It's both. It's
he
somewhere.
cleans up later, and he still lives there. So him cleaning up gave it from 2 stars to 3. So.
Okay. Now, speaking of Malcolm, in the comic books, Malcolm is a white kid, and the lawyer Hogarth, she's a dude. So what I'm wondering is, how come in the comic books? How come the internet didn't explode?
Because people didn't really read this comic?
Yeah, nobody knows about this.
Nobody read about Max.
Fair enough, but I still feel like there's enough nerds. I mean, if 10 people can get pissed off that there's one black guy in Star Wars, I figured there'd be enough people who watch Netflix to get pissed off about this.
Yeah, I think this is too adult-oriented for those kids to be involved. So that's my suspicion, because, yeah, otherwise that would be weird. But who knows? Yeah, I mean, bigots exist everywhere. But, yeah, for me, like, I don't know. I definitely I loved her issues, like her challenges that she had, like that she's like, well, I want to be a hero, but do I really want to be a hero? And like you actually explore that, and I love that by the end that like she is still like delete, delete, delete as all these messages of hey, help me, and then she's like, okay, I'll listen, I'll listen, I'll listen,
No,
maybe.
it was Malcolm. Malcolm made her to like.
Oh, he pulled the phone?
She's just sitting there gonna not answer the phone, and he was like, "Okay, you know, alias investigations. How can I help you?" Like,
oh no,
she wouldn't have answered the phone if he didn't.
But she was at least listening to the messages. That's what I meant.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think she would have done anything about it though.
I agree. That's why further seasons of this will be interesting. And I did like the night nurse intro into it, so it was definitely interesting. But I did feel the ending was sort of anticlimactic, but I guess that's the only way it could end, with him dying. Because I thought that would have been more interesting, but you couldn't keep him alive just because he's too unreliable. As he couldn't do anything maniacal. He would have to be the same person he was in the series. Otherwise, why wouldn't he have done it before? You agree, Max? Or what are you thinking? Looks like you're thinking.
No, I don't like that they killed him. I never like in a comic book movie or show. I never like it when they kill the villain because that is the one comic book thing that you can't do. All of the villains and heroes survive all the time.
Or they come back.
And I really would love.
All right.
Huh?
So, what was that, Jason?
I said, or they just come back. That's what usually happens. They're never
Oh,
really
he's dead.
No, yeah, he's dead.
He's got a broken neck. That doesn't necessarily mean he's dead. He could have like a cool little brace.
The broken.
That's right.
The broken neck probably wouldn't do it, but his heart stopping and him not breathing, I'm guessing that might have fucking done it for him.
Well, they brought Simpson back after being exploded, so why can't they bring him back?
Yeah, I mean, he could have given himself some of that nifty drug that shut down everything, and then she broke his neck, and
The nifty drug that shuts.
No, she broke his neck. He stopped breathing. If he were to come back now, he'd be brain dead.
Or paralyzed at best. Completely paralyzed because with her strength, his spine is severed.
Yeah.
He's lucky. He needs the nerves just hanging on. That's it.
It would be kind of cool if like she had like just crushed his larynx or something like that, so he couldn't talk.
That's what I wanted to see.
And like like he ends up with like the metal the hello, my name is Kilgrave. I want to control you all.
No.
So all right.
So I thought that would be a big.
So I see we all love this show. So do we have any negatives? Let's try that. Oh, Dan's got a negative.
The one glaring plot hole I see in the whole thing, if you want to call it that, is that if she is so afraid of Kilgrave, and he's such a bad dude, when you give him the really heavy sleepy stuff, shoot him in the head. I realize that the argument is you got to save that kid, but it's one kid versus a ton of people jumping off a building.
So I would agree with you.
That's the kill Hitler argument. You can talk around in circles the whole time.
Well, that's not the kill Hitler argument, because he's already a bad guy. It's not like you're going back in time and shooting him, before he starts it. I mean, they're already in the shit. He's already messing with people.
So I mean, I actually think it kind of paid off.
She's a hero, man. You got to save everybody.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It paid off because when Hope committed suicide, it put the point of her of basically, shit, I've been trying to save you this entire time, and you just killed yourself to prove a point to me that which it's a very demented point, which you're very much right, Dan. It's one person versus another, but for her, she didn't want to make that connection because she's supposed to be a hero.
Well, I mean, the choice sucks, but you end up saving more people if you just put a bullet in his head earlier.
All right, I agree. Jason? Well, the show would be over quicker.
Yeah, being that pragmatic doesn't make sense.
I mean, but it is David Tennant, so I mean, I'd like to see more of him on the TV anyway. So.
I don't like David Tennant. I don't like him at all. I didn't like him in Doctor Who. I watched like 2 episodes of that other show he was on that sucked balls. I'm not a David Tennant fan, but I fucking loved him in the show. What?
I don't know what Dan said.
Oh, I said that the other show he was in did suck balls, but I don't think it was his fault.
Okay.
It was just kind of crappy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fucking Tennant fan, but this show, I mean, I don't know if it was enhanced because I don't like David Tennant so much that having him be the villain was, like psychologically like what I expect because I can't stand his guts. So to see him as somebody I'm supposed to hate makes it all the better. But I
really don't
totally. Yeah, I'm not supposed to like you, so it's cool. But
all right.
But no, I thought he was great in the show, and I am sad that he's dead because I would have loved to see him come back.
So, Jason, do you have any negatives?
It's like going on the first date.
Shit about Kingpin.
You're just so happy that it was good. So I'm still in the honeymoon phase right now. I can't think of any.
All right.
During my rewatch, during one of our podcasts, if I come up with some, I will bring it up.
All right. Max?
Negatives. I would say.
I can go if you want to think.
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right. So the Simpson character, I felt that they didn't give me enough to explain anything of why he was that demented at the beginning. And that was, I am nitpicking here because it didn't matter all that much. You can just have a guy that's slightly off because he was in a war. But for the level of the show, it felt bad. And then I couldn't stand the twin sister. I wanted her to die from the beginning. Like, I just wish Jessica Jones had just snapped her neck at the beginning because I just couldn't stand her. But anyways, Max?
I thought in that apartment building you need the bitchy neighbor, and he pulled it off really well.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a personal preference there, Max. I didn't say it was a good negative.
But I do agree with Simpson. I feel like he was the weakest out of all of them. The character that they based him off of, I can't remember his actual name. His last name is Simpson, but it's a different first name, and he's like Captain Nuke or something like that. He's gotten in the comic books, he's got an American flag tattooed on his face, and he takes those pills. They're red, white, and blue. I don't know if you noticed, but that's another little thing towards that character. And he's like redneck, jacked up Captain America. Is basically like he's got some super soldier bizzo going on. He takes these drugs, and that kind of makes him a superhuman. But so the character of Simpson was kind of like the comic book analogy. I don't feel like they dropped the ball really on that, but it just didn't really play out so well. And I think they could have gotten a better actor to do it. I didn't really like that actor. I thought he kind of was the weakest link on that one. So yeah, I would agree with you, Philip. Thank you for bringing it up. Simpson is probably the worst part of the show, and he's not that bad. So there you go.
Yeah, pretty much that's what I said. I was nitpicking at that point, but yeah, it was just like, wait a minute, I was like, what? You've done all this? Come on, give me that.
Yeah, because he was kind of flip flopping around. It was just like, oh, I want to be a good guy, but I got to do bad things, and it's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna kill everybody in the room.
Yes. He was unstable. I'll definitely give him that. They pulled that off really well. But I agree with you. I think if they had a better actor, even with what they had given him, that probably would have been enough. He just didn't have enough to show that flip really quick, right? Like that I've got this other side that's in me, but that I keep repressed. But when I take these pills, that comes out. So be aware. But all right. So I think we're pretty good. I mean, we talked to love on. Anything else? Anybody else? Max?
Yeah. The Trish Walker character, the best friend.
Ah, yes.
She in the comic books is a character called Hellcat, who's basically like a martial artist. She's got some force field powers, but obviously she doesn't have any powers in this show. But they do make her fucking pretty badass as far as the Krav Maga is concerned, and I liked it. I liked what they did with that. I thought she was another strong character who didn't detract, like definitely enhanced the show and didn't detract from it. I liked, all the places they put her at. I thought that was, really good. And then that crazy fucked up shit with her mom. And here's more fucked up shit about this show. Like, her mom has got her over a toilet with the mom's got her finger down the girl's throat. Like, you gotta be a star. Like, throw up right now. Like, that shit doesn't happen in TV.
The camera adds 10 pounds, is what she's saying.
Netflix, man, Netflix. Let me ask you guys a question. So, HBO has The Wire, The Shield, and Game of Thrones, or not The Shield, sorry, The Wire, The Sopranos, and Game of Thrones, right? Those are their three big shows that are considered the best of all time. Netflix is giving them a run for their money because they have House of Cards, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones, which are so strong. I can't wait to see what Netflix gives us next year with the second season of Daredevil, the first season of Luke Cage, the fourth season of House of Cards, the second season of Jessica Jones. Them and Marvel have made... I read something that Jessica Jones was originally supposed to be on ABC. I'm glad that they did not put that on ABC. That they did not water it down. I can't even imagine that show any other way. Can you imagine that show any other way?
No, I don't think.
I mean, I can. It just sucks.
Go ahead, Max.
I said I can imagine it any other way. It would just suck balls.
Get the smell of lost potential when you're watching it.
Nice.
All right.
Any other positives anyone wants to touch on before we go our overall review and what we think of it? Dan?
I don't think so.
I'd like to say that, I mean, I thought the weakest character was the lawyer chick, but even like the side characters get their own story arcs. I mean, the really annoying twin, I mean, actually, has her part to play later on, so that they're not just extraneous, boring things, and that's definitely cool. That's all.
I gotcha. Yeah, I definitely can see what you're saying about the lawyer, because it definitely felt a bit unfulfilled. Max?
Yes, sir. One more little Easter egg or whatever they had in there was the mention of what's her name? Sorry, Angela Del Toro, the White Tiger. When Luke Cage comes in to hire Jessica Jones, she's like, "I'm not gonna work for you. I'll recommend you to somebody else." Yeah, that's another Marvel character called the White Tiger. So I mean, she exists in the world. That's something that's really cool. That's another route they can go that somebody else might pop up later. I'm just really, really pleased with everything.
I gotcha. Yeah, I definitely really, really like the show. I think, from my perspective, I pretty much have to, even though my personal preferences aside, I would say I give it pretty much the exact same. Like, if I'm going to give it, that's hard. Because I gave Daredevil a 9 out of 10. Right now I'm debating, do I give it a 9 or 9.1? Like, I don't know if I would go all the way up where Jason was with 9.5. Definitely there were some flaws, but they weren't bad flaws. But I'll definitely just overall, I gotta give it like a 9.1. That's what I'm gonna go with out of 10, just because the characters were just so much better. That was the one thing that I will say Daredevil didn't have, is they had characters, but they didn't have the just sheer amount, and then the sheer amount of shit that they go through, and the fact that they actually show all the emotion. Like, in that one, yeah, Daredevil went through some stuff, and they kind of go into that Murdoch, and the secretary. But beyond that, they don't really talk about too much deep stuff, and you're dealing with some stuff like just aside, just in general, like parents that are afraid of their child, and I mean, simple little things that you don't really think about, but it was actually interesting and believable the way they told about it, and the fact that, no, we have to do this, we have to do this the right way, etc., etc. So it was definitely a very interesting show. Max?
What did I give Daredevil? 8? I can't even remember.
No, I think you
I
gave it a
watched
9
it
or
again.
a 10.
Yeah. No, he gave it a 9.
No way I gave it a 10. No way I gave it a 10.
You gave it a 9, Max. I rewatched it. You gave it a 9,
But,
Jason gave it a 9, and I gave it a 9.
Yeah, I'll just put it right up there, 9. If I gave Daredevil a 9, then that's what I give this. If I gave Daredevil an 8, that's what I give this. The quality is the same. The show is entirely different, but the quality is the same.
Gotcha. Dan?
This show is friggin' awesome. I'm giving it a 9.5. It would have got slightly higher, like maybe a 9.8 or so, if you got like a little, like Heroes for Hire, like thing, or if you saw Danny Rand at any point just like walking down the street, I would have been happy. But
that's what I liked about the lawyer too. In the comic books, the lawyer is Danny Rand's lawyer.
yeah.
Oh.
But I really wanted Iron Fist to put next to Power Man.
No, they can't do that yet. They can't even tease that yet. They don't even have Danny Rand cast.
I want my freaking Iron Fist, Max.
Yeah.
Me too, but I'm saying like no, it's fine how they're doing this because, if you're gonna get super mystical with it, it doesn't really belong in this show. Fucking, I'm gonna have to disagree again. As much as I like Iron Fist, as much as I want to see some badass kung fu, they couldn't do it in this one. And Danny Rand doesn't belong here. He doesn't have any business here.
Yeah, so that's the part that I'm going to be interested about. Maybe we can touch on this during the podcast as well, is do you all think the rumor is going to be true, that it's actually they're going to, instead of Danny Rand, they're actually going to change it out for Punisher?
I mean, I understand, I guess, but I feel like you got enough smart guys in a room, you can make it work. I heard that they're gonna do like an Iron Fist movie instead of a show. I feel like if you can pull Daredevil off, you can pull this off. It's not that big of a stretch from one to the other. And I mean, like they touched on all the crazy weird shit in Daredevil, and there's no issues. I mean, I guess there's some inherent racism they have to get over, like, you're sort of in a Last Samurai situation with Tom Cruise. Like, here's a white guy taking all the, taking all the culture from other people and running around with it. But
okay, I have a question about that then. What if they recast him to be from that culture? Would that ruin the comic? Would that ruin the topic?
I don't give a fuck, man. You can make him. I don't care if you make him a purple alien from God knows where. Fucking give me Iron Fist.
Okay. Dan?
As long as he has like the dumbest names for the coolest moves, like he used to in the comics, I'm down.
Cool.
No, they had no clue what kung fu moves were called, so they're just like rampaging elephant fist, and it's oddly bizarre, but so satisfying.
This is the one crane. This is the one crane squatting kick.
That's awesome. I think this Netflix cinematic universe sounds like it could use a character like that to kind of lighten it up a little bit, to bring them all together. Otherwise, I think they all have to be depressed when they're fighting a group of people, but we'll see.
I just want a Power Man and an Iron Fist show. That's what I want.
Oh. So, I mean, maybe there is hope that they talk about it in Luke Cage, Dan.
Yeah.
Real quick, my phone's about to die, but this will be like a little preview for next Sunday's podcast. Did anybody else notice that they would not use any of the Avengers by name? It was the green dude and his crew, or little references like that. So my question, and this will be our topic for next week. Do you think that the Daredevil and Jessica Jones series really takes place in the same universe as the movies, or have they not decided yet?
Yes, they take place in the same series, same universe.
I don't know, because now that Kevin Feige runs the movies and a separate person is running the television, it may be a different story, which is why they're not referencing any of them by name. I don't know. It's an interesting thing that
They are referencing them though. They're referencing shit straight out of the movie, so I don't see how it's not in the same universe. They're like, oh yeah, remember when that giant hole opened up in the sky and 10 people decided to fight a bunch of aliens? Yeah, that's the same fucking universe.
We'll see. I think we'll know more when Daredevil and Cap 3 comes out. But yeah, give us another good season. Let's do it. I'm excited. I am excited.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. Jessica Jones is probably the most frustrating they've done so far. So give us the Iron Fist. Let Max and Dan be happy.
Yep. I think Iron Fist is going to have the biggest budget.
Everyone listening, our podcast.
So Iron Fist has the most because they have the most to pay.
What was that, Jason? Go ahead.
The lag does suck. I said everybody that's listening, our podcast has moved to Sundays at, 9? Is that what we decided? 9. So all of the nerdy television that we all like to watch will be over, and we can discuss it from the week. So please tune in. Mike will be joining us as well. He did his cast over on McGTV, so I highly recommend checking that out, youtube.com/Mike McGTV. There's your shout out, buddy. Anybody have anything to add?
No, I think we're it.
Watch Jessica Jones.
Comment below.
If
you like it.
The show is awesome. Go watch it.
If you are somebody who's watching this review and you hated Jessica Jones, we are very curious to know why. So please let us know in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, check us out on iTunes. We're backed up, but we're getting it fixed. So hopefully by the end of this week, all of our podcasts from the last 3 weeks will finally be available to you. And thanks for the support.